off, but it didn't go off. This is just what Dave Horn, we were talking about at the gun club meeting. Work was begun on the powder magazine, the first time we know is in about 1919. And so when you go back along this wall here, you get about, not quite, about halfway on this barrel rack. Pecked into the mortar are two French names and 1919. So what that makes, what I like about that is that was the first time this building was cleaned up, and they weren't the greatest, masons, but they tuck pointed this whole thing. So what you're seeing here is original stone that was put here by a Frenchman or a bunch of Frenchmen in the 1750s, and then it was tuck pointed the first time cleaned up in 1919, and that is on the wall back here. Now I'm going to step down, or you can just come in and look and come back out. But it's kind of cool because it's actually, and if you get your cell phone with you, you don't want to burn up the Rachel's battery, but you need to have a light to see it. But it's right back here.
Well, I told you said you could.
You can actually see it without a light. But L.A. Bar and P.J. Dufeld, 1919.
You can't literally throw a match into it. Look into it. You'll see that you can't see the.
There's no exit, so you have to
On the outside.
go in and out.
Let's go. You got your phone?
Yeah,
No.
If
What's back
anybody's,
there?
if anybody's, here's the
Yeah, the name's back there.
the name right back here, yeah. Have you ever seen this, Jennifer? Have you seen it before? It's, Yeah. And the Boyers, they're down at Old Mines. There's still some Boyers down at Old Mines. I don't think there's any Boyers in Rotary.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay.
Pearson's got service VORG.
Also, this building, this is documented that this building had a tongue and groove floor. They had different names for it. There's hidden nails. There's no nails exposed for sparks. The air vents, I saw y'all looking at the air vents. The air vents go into the wall and they go out, but they don't go straight through. So you couldn't fire a musket through here, or you couldn't throw a firebomb through the air vent. And the air vents, the air moves back and forth. Normally, I have school kids in here. Some rascally boy would have his arm stuck in about this big, and I'd say, "Are you petting the snake that lives in here?"
That'd be a good story.
Had a hard time getting his hand out. Yeah.
He was right next to me.
Stories. We're gonna have to create a book for you.
Oh.
It's gonna be children's stories.
Another interesting thing is that the Pro Saber Bow states that the outer door was clad in iron, and it says it in the English version and in the French version. So, what the heck's his name from Canada? Who's the heavy hitting this?
Rene Chartrand.
Rene Chartrand. Come down here to give a presentation of Frog Talk, and which he hated the name, by the way.
Sure.
He said that was an insult. He said that the doors always had copper sheaths in copper, and so I was taking him around, and he said, "Oh, you made this is a mistake here." And I said, "Oh no," I said, "We'll show you." And I showed him, and he said, "No, you're right." He said, "I cannot say never again." But when Rene came down here, Rene is, he's I don't know if he's still alive, but he's a heavy hitter up in Canada, Parks, Canada. He was like the main architect, historic architect, and he hated the term Frog Talk because he felt that frog was a derogatory statement. And I remember he said, he said, he didn't tell me this, he told the guys who put that event on, Holy Family, but he actually met with them, and he said, well, that would be like having a bunch of, a Mexican conference, and you would call it Spixpee. And he got all eat up over it. Well, if you go to Canada, even today, you have to go to Quebec, you can buy a t-shirt that says La Grande Oui, and it'll be a big fat frog setter holding a French or Quebecois flag, and it says La Grande Oui and proud to be. Basically, the frog and proud to be. So we all had the idea that we weren't going to do this to Renee, because we had a lot of respect for Renee, but we had this great plan that for the boys from Holy Family, because some of them were wrapped kind of tight. And so we went, between the staff that worked there, we went and we bought every frog you could buy in 3 counties. I mean, we had big realistic looking frogs. We had little red, orange, and yellow and green frogs that you buy in a bag full of frogs. We had probably 1,000 frogs, and we had them all over the office. Now the plan is we were going to take the Holy Family guys in there, but under no circumstances were we going to take Renee in there. So Jim Duval, bless his heart, being Jim Duval, just the incredible Jim Duval. He's talking to Renee, so the first thing he says, Renee, he's talking about something, and he says, well, we have a copy of it in the office. I'll show you. Walked right in the office with 1,000 frogs. And how the hell there was frogs? Every, we had them hanging. You could, every place you could put a frog, we had a frog,
And he's never been back since.
And no, but he walked in and he looked around and he just said, very interesting. That's all he said. We're all going, oh, Jim, But that was